Anyway, but you know, but I understand why people are afraid of things. You know, like, but don't let your fear have you. Okay, let's circle it back to the gender critical thing that happened yesterday or the other day. The event in Melbourne. Don't let your fear interfere with your judgment. I've said this repeatedly over again. Hundreds and hundreds of hours that no one listens to. That this ends badly. It won't be good for you. If you show up at a fucking protest that has, you know, the establishment or whatever fucking enemy you think is your enemy, okay? If you show up to a protest where there are people where there are divisive figures like Kelly J. King or, you know, Trump or, you know, any of these figures, okay? If you show up to something like that, I'm not saying you don't have the right to protest. I will defend your right to protest. But you do need to consider the optics of it. It's going to ruin your movement. That's what you're up against. You're up against a media that does this. You are up against tech companies that support that media that do this. I don't know what to tell you. Okay? Now, I'm doing my best, you know, you do the best you can to fact check that stuff and make sure that now that, you know, sort of Twitter has somewhat been wrangled free, okay, from this stuff. Oh, that made me laugh. press@twitter.com email address is now gets an autoresponder with the poo emoji. Fuck, he's funny. He cracks me up.
Elon.
There are a bunch of people on Twitter who are used to being able to just lie. Thankfully, now that my account is in the clear, I'm able to use community notes and, you know, all those sorts of things. But it is very heavily stacked in the favor of, you know, people who were trying to manipulate narratives. Like that's you do contribute something, do something productive, you know. So there was a Standing for Women event in Victoria, in Melbourne. And it went exactly as you'd expect. Fucking Posey Parker, who's like a key figure in the gender wars, and a bunch of Nazis crashed the party, and then all of the fucking the usual suspects just started saying, "Oh, TERFs are Nazis," and Nazis showed up. Yeah, we knew it all along. The usual shit. But then Dan Andrews, Premier of Victoria, turned around and said that it was an anti-trans rally, which I would agree. Even though there are people that weren't anti-trans there, at this point you know what she is, you know who she is, and I don't know what to tell you. I support your right to be there, and I will defend you if you're not a Nazi, and I will defend you and your views, but at the same time you knew what you were fucking getting into. It's like with the billboard, with the adult human. It's like, oh no, that's just the dictionary, but you know it's not. It's not the dictionary definition. It is goading, it is provoking, and you know what you're doing. Okay, I'm just going to say that. So don't be surprised when Nazis show up. But my issue was that Dan Andrews turned around and said that Nazis aren't welcome. And I'm like, well, the Premier's job is to actually get to solve these things and be a leader and say, no, everyone is a citizen. They have the right to protest. You don't tell citizens that they're not welcome. Okay, that's he needs better comms, right? That I had a concern with that, but I have substantive fucking feedback and actual things to say rather than anyway. But yeah, anyone who showed up knew what they were getting into. I'm sorry, but I don't know what to tell you. Now, my critique of mainstream media and all those things is that they don't give you a fair go and a fair cop and a fair voice in the public space, so you feel that you need to attach yourself to people like that. Okay? But I don't support that. I don't support it. I don't support her, and I don't support what she says about other women, and I do not support her as a figure or a representative of the issue. I think she is poison. So there you go. That's how I feel. And I think that everyone who surrounds her are basically just the same old mum forum, mumsnet bullies that would pile on over breastfeeding. They'd pile on over prams. That's not the issue. It's the fact that they just love piling on. And they have their little backroom fucking groups and their little bitch fests. And I know that they, and they sit there and they just screenshot everything that people say and they just bully in the background. I know that they do that. I've been a victim of these fucking women for, 20, 30 years, okay? They're psychos, okay? But, if I want innocent people who would just care about the issue to go in with open eyes about what they, that I can agree with their initial concern because I share that concern, and I can, not have time for the bullying and the, I said this morning, I would use turf blocker myself if I didn't know, people who would be falsely caught up because they just behave so poorly. Okay, it was an anti-trans fucking rally, and I'm sorry, but I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you at this point. Okay, but no one listens to me. Okay, and it is what it is. But anyway, but this is the same thing about being reactionary versus embracing the issues, which is that I never. I think it's a bit wacky. I think, demisexual, all these things, the Tumblr shit's crazy. But, if you're saying there's no such thing as trans, then you're wrong, okay? If you're saying that, because if you're saying that gender dysphoria isn't real, then you're also saying that things like autism and ADHD and any other mental illness isn't real, because the thing about gender dysphoria and ADHD and all of those other things is that they are syndromes. And what a syndrome is a set of symptoms. And if you know anything about anything, okay, syndromes are as real, and you are a fucking asshole if you think that anything that you can't see or measure is real when most of the DSM is fucking around that. They don't know the cause of ADHD, and they don't know the cause of autism. Really, they have some sort of genetic inclination, but it is a set of symptoms. It is a set of complex fucking things where you end up with a diagnosis, and with a diagnosis there is a treatment. So if you say there's no such thing as trans, you're a fucking idiot who doesn't know what these things are. And you're also offending people like me. You're also offending schizophrenics. Did you know that there's no real fucking, there's no compelling biology for schizophrenia either? Okay? And there's no argument. Okay? Yes, I don't like, there's an authoritarian fucking component to this because it's an ad campaign funded by BlackRock. It's fucking ESG bullshit. Everyone gargles BlackRock's balls with their ESG shit and their grants so that they get money, so they go, I love that shit. BlackRock fund Pfizer. BlackRock fund Unilever. BlackRock fund all the things. It's investment. And they fucking run these fucking campaigns to improve their bottom line on various things like fucking puberty blockers or fucking junk food or cosmetics or fucking anything. It works. It's not that hard. Okay, but that's not the issue. You are distracted by the fucking quibbling of the issue, not the economics and not the power systems that actually operate. So if you show up alongside Nazis, then fuck off. You're going to get it. I don't know what to tell you, but I'm still going to defend you because it's a democracy. And you have a democratic right. I'm a democracy absolutist. I updated my Twitter bio to say that, which is it's your right to participate. It's also your right to use AI, but it's not your right to abuse it. Okay, so that's where it's like, but because you're afraid of it, or you want to fucking wreck what you don't know or understand or fear. Okay? Fear response. You're hot. You're running with fear. You're fucking attacking things that you are scared of because you are scared, or you are afraid, or you are uncertain. And I want you to be honest with yourself. Right? I'm honest about things when I'm afraid. I fucking act like, no one's their best self. Okay? But understand that this is an uncertain time. Be aware of the fact that you are fucking acting out, that you're out of your mind. Be aware that your fucking heuristics are going to be askew when you are afraid. Be aware that you might not, all these things. Be aware that you don't have all the information and that maybe you have been living in fucking a dream world of scrolling where all of that information has been delivered through either a far-right pipeline of bullshit or a fucking corporate Democrat fascist fucking pipeline of bullshit. So maybe you might need to be deprogrammed a little bit from that and see things that are a little bit uncomfortable, and AI might like to tell you that something's a bit inappropriate from time to time. Okay? Don't be afraid of shit. Work on your own fear and fucking just, grow up. People should just grow up.